guys, yeah, we're doing this one because we've noticed that many students don't know the difference between sitting in the power and meditating. And what I feel about it is there really needs to be a little bit of explanation how it works, because meditation is basically going within inside oneself and getting in contact with your own soul's energy, your own experience within, but going into a passive mind, into a passive feeling. And sitting in the power, it has to be active, doesn't it, Kay?
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's if you sit just passively, I think in terms of if I'm getting ready to work, if I meditate and I'm sitting passively, which is what I did in the very beginning, not knowing the difference. When I get ready to work, I'm all woo, chilled out, and I'm not really in the right frame in order for me to work. But if you sit within the power and it's an act, you're sitting with an active energy. When I come out of that, it's like, yeah, I'm ready to go and I'm ready to work and the spirit world is there and we're all, woo, let's go, let's rock and roll. So that's, for me, that's the difference in how it makes me feel when I'm about to work.
Exactly. I used to have the same thing. I used to sit in what I thought was the power years ago, and I used to be going into meditation. And when I came out of meditation, I'd be trying to make all these contacts with the spirit world, and it would be really slow. And I'd be like, why is it so slow? Why isn't the information coming quickly to me?
Absolutely. Yes.
Until you realize that sitting in the power K is that active, it's that activation within your own soul and the activation with the contact with spirit, and you're sitting actively also in your mind. You don't want to be sleeping, you don't want to be in any meditation or trance.
No, absolutely not, because that is it is preparing you to work, and we definitely. I'm sorry, I'm just a little distracted here. We're definitely wanting to prepare ourselves and invite that spirit world in. And the only way we can do that is to really sit in the power and expand and allow them to come in and work with us.
Exactly. So like we said, meditation is passive, but when you get into the active power, and it's where you say you start off with, I'm going to sit in that chair in the power. That's an active, statement, an active feeling, and you sit in the chair and you will feel that your energy will change when you say,
Yes.
I am going to actively sit in the power. And then you're going to connect to your own soul's energy, that light within yourself, and you actively move it and sit in it in the emanation of your soul. And
Yes.
isn't that right, Kay?
Yes. And you know, that's what I did in the very beginning before I really knew what I was doing. I I would sit every day with my guide, and that's exactly what was happening. I began just by sitting within my own soul, and I could feel a change. I could feel a shift in the energy. It was different than what it was when I meditated. I felt alive when I was sitting in the power. I felt all goosebumpy kind of ways. But when I just was sitting with my own soul was when I was doing my own soul work, and that's when the healing and all of that took place. But it moved into sitting in the with the spirit world, sitting with my guide, not talking. He wouldn't talk to me. I tried desperately to get him to talk to me, but he wouldn't. And he just sat there. Um, and it was a way for him and I to bond and him to work with my energy and so forth. But that's how it began in the beginning. But the difference was I felt it. It was I could feel the energy. I just felt alive. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, that's a good way of saying it, Kay, because what it is when you go within and you ignite your own soul's power, and you bring it up above you to the spirit world, and you make that contact with the spirit world, not asking them in, but being that blended empowerment, like in that moment, actively sitting there, not wanting to communicate, just to sit in that power, connected to spirit, and just feel the energy coming through you. It can feel like suddenly, you've had 10 cups of coffee. It can feel like, suddenly you're awake. You were tired before, and you're awake. And that's what you want to be doing, because when you're really sitting the right way in the power, afterwards you will not be tired. You'll be like, I've had 10 cups of coffee. I'm ready to go. Let's get on with this job. You know what I mean?
It empowers you. It ignites you. It's almost like you're igniting the own soul within, and you're ready. I'm like, I remember once I was getting ready to do a church service in England, and they took me into my little room, and I got into the power, and when I walked out, I was just like, come on, let's go, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And the lady goes, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just like, let's go, I'm ready.
Exactly.
Because the energy was so strong.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm ready, can we get going,
That's it. And most of the exercises they do with the power, mostly they say, ignite that spark of divinity inside yourself. Connect to spirit and feel the connection you have with spirit. And then they'll probably say, and connect to a God source or a universal force and feel that energy. But what all those things are doing are just like fixing yourself into an active mode to pick up the energy and the frequency that the spirit world needs to work with you on different levels.
Yeah. And do you agree, Jason, that it's almost like you're raising your vibration so that the spirit world can come down, the spirit world lowers theirs, you raise yours, and the two come together and blend as one. Do you agree?
Exactly. Right. We raise actively our energy through the power, empowering ourselves to meet the spirit world, and in love, the spirit world lower theirs to contact. When we actually raise our energy up to a higher frequency, and when we do that, we raise it to a higher frequency, as high as possible, actively, then the spirit world can actually, in love, lower their frequency to us. And the more that we develop, the more that we can contact the spirit world, where they don't have to lower their energy as much. So, and that's how it works, actively empowering ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is important for us to do this and sit on a regular basis. For me, I did it every day, and then I kind of got out of it because life took over.
Yeah.
But, I would still try to sit as often as I possibly can. Yeah. And then I would do it 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week instead of 7 times a week. Then I got out of it completely, and now I'm getting back into it again because I stopped whenever I moved back to America. I had too much on my plate at the time. So now I'm getting back into sitting in that power again, and it feels so good to finally be doing that again. So strongly recommend that you do it as often as possible. 20 to 30 minutes is good. If you can go longer, it's even better. But once a day, not more than once a day.
And some people see this like sitting in the power as like homework for activating your mediumship. It's actually self-care work. When you empower yourself, it's like you're charging up your batteries to be able to make better contacts, to become a better medium, to understand what spirit's saying. Because when you activate it the way it needs to be activated, you're going to see a massive difference within your mediumship when you know what you're doing and you know the feelings that you should be feeling. Isn't that right, Kay?
Yes, absolutely. Because as you develop as a medium, you have to get to the point to where you recognize when you're in your power and when you drop out of your power. And when we work as mediums, it's common for us to drop out of our power, and we have to be able to recognize that, where we can go, oh, hang on, I just dropped out, let me step back in. So it's important for you to know what it feels like to be in more power.
Yeah, absolutely. So the benefits from this is, if you're feeling tired, before you empower yourself, you won't feel tired anymore. It gives you enough energy to get through your whole day. So if you've got a lot going on in your life, this is going to enrich your life. Yeah.
It's a great way to start your day.
It certainly is. It certainly
Especially if you're sleepy in the morning.
Absolutely.
It's a great way. It gives you that extra woof that you're ready to start.
Really.
So I hope that this has answered your questions, and if it's not, please put questions down below. We're still here. Charlene, hi. If you have a question, please post it before we get off. But yeah, put your questions on, and happy to answer them. But it's important that you understand what sitting in the power is, because we want you to be doing it the right way. We don't want you to practice the wrong way. We want you to practice a way that's going to benefit you.
Yeah, that's the best way, Kay. And I think we've covered it all. And just for anyone that's out there, this is only going to be about 10 to 13, 14 minutes long. So rewatch it, and you'll find all the tips that we said about the difference between being in the power and being in meditation. I want to wish you a lot of love from us, and this is goodbye from me.
Yeah, and I just want to answer Charlene. At the very beginning, we did talk about what the difference is between meditating and sitting in the power, if that's what you meant right there.
I would rewatch this, Charlene. Rewatch this, and when you rewatch it, you'll find that we've mentioned it. And if you've got any questions after that, put them down here, and we'll do a different live on that.
Yeah, sitting in the power. Yeah, when you watch it back, she just asked another question. When you watch it back, Charlene, you'll see that the difference between meditating and sitting in the power, and you'll know exactly which one you need to do for what, because they both are important and they both serve a different purpose. But if you're getting ready to work, you definitely need to be sitting in the power.
Absolutely.
All right?
So
I hope that helps. Charlene, watch it back, and then if you have any questions after you've watched it back, post it on there, and either Jason or I will get back with you and answer it. Okay?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And
all right.